Today, it's finally time to announce the winners of my Star Wars mock contest I hosted to celebrate Star Wars Day on May the 4th. So get ready to punch in these hyperspace coordinates as we journey to the galaxy far, far away, and let's get started right now. We got nearly 30 mocks submitted to the contest, from which I've selected the top 10 that really caught my eye, and we're going to go through all of the details I think were worth mentioning in these builds, and of course pick a winner by the end of the video. First, to sum up the contest rules, participants were supposed to make a Star Wars related mock of a maximum size of 48 by 48 stats set in any desired era of the franchise, and boy do we got a lot of great builds to choose from. To honor all of the talented builders that took their time to create something for the contest, let's first quickly go through all of the ones that didn't get into the final top 10, and after that I'll talk about the best ones in more detail, ending with the one that will get the promised rewards, so enjoy! I've seen some great ideas in these builds, but some of the builders still have a lot to learn in terms of composition, details and the overall cool factor of their builds, but keep on trying, guys. Build more, learn new techniques from other builders and try experimenting with the way you present your mocks, as I see a lot of potential in you guys and you will for sure get better with time. But now, let's jump into the top 10 builds that, in my opinion, were the best from the ones submitted. And starting with number 10, we have the Imperial Refinery Patrol by Brown Bricks. So we have a nice little part of an Imperial refinery, guarded by patrols, an officer checking out a communications tower, which is not a bad design, and we got a scout driving on a speeder bike. The speeder bike is very nice, the rockwork simple yet still good looking, and the refinery itself is looking solid and very Star Wars like. The only things that bother me here a bit is that the tree could be bigger to match the buildings, and the water is looking a bit unnatural, but the overall composition is nice, so let's move on. On number 9 we have the Assault on Theed by Luke Johnson. Here the buildings are looking nice and smooth as they should be on Naboo, with some arches and balconies that have a very nice looking decorations, although ton heads would fit much better here, but I understand that it's not a very common piece, so I can let that slide. I really like how the greenery looks, filling the otherwise blank spots. The floor has that Naboo vibe to it, and of course we have an action-packed battle on top of it, which truly completes this scene. Coming up on 8th place is the Old Republic Sith Attack by LEGO Studios. I am so glad that we have some Old Republic action in the contest, as it is my beloved time period, and besides we have here an action-packed scene with a lot of great details. The building looks very good, I really like the minimalistic foliage spread around, lots of pipes, cracked walls and floors, with even more details inside, and of course the chopped hands in the middle act as a great focus point, so great job mate. 7th place goes to Darkside Brickskerkers and their new apprentice mock. Another game-based scene, and actually one of the best Star Wars games of its time. Looking at the scene you can immediately know where it's from, as the building looks very similar to the source material. The ground details are decent, although more tiles on the sand would be more of my style, but the rest is just right. The foliage looks nice, the colors fit perfectly, so overall a very solid scenery. And of course the scene of Wookiees laying on the ground after being cut down by Vader, and the Jedi marching towards him, who will soon join their fate, are greatly captured. And we even have an interior scene with the Dark Lord taking on his new apprentice. So much nostalgia and such a good choice for a mock. On the 6th place we have the Mandalorian Throne Room by Brickbuster. And here, another one of my beloved scenes. I am a huge fan of both Mandalorians and Mao, so a battle between him and Pre Vizsla is right down my alley. The throne room looks very reminiscent of the scene from the Clone Wars, a lot of huge windows, details on the floor, and a nice solution for the stairs in front of the throne made with panels. I also like the fact that the author was able to show multiple famous scenes that were taking place in this location, each very close to my heart, so that's a huge plus. Coming up on 5th place is a build by Brohouse Maniac called No Way Out. Here we have a very rich scenery with a lot of plant life, nice terrain, and very detailed buildings filled with small details that really brings this MOC to life. And of course there are some nice building techniques incorporated to the buildings and some very solid rock work. Huge plus also for the water, that is just a hanging structure of bricks with even more details under the surface, which for me was always a great approach, especially after my Falcon's Nest MOC. Oh, and I also like the narrated story that really helped the viewer immerse into the scene, which always is a great addition to the video. 4th place goes to a small yet a very good looking MOC simply called Felucia by Stillbrick. For such a small vignette, the builder was able to put so much details into it, it had to make it to the ranking. Even though it's basically a stand for a single minifigure, it's a very neat composition with all the elements that a Felucia MOC should have. Rich with creatively placed foliage, a good ground structure, decent snot work, and I really like the ATTE legs stomping on a poor battle droid that made his last stand right before eyeless Sakura eyes. Now before we jump into the top 3 builds, I wanna give an honorable mention to User with his Endor MOC, which probably would easily be in the top 3, but because you were unfortunately a day late with your submission, I cannot allow this MOC to win. But either way, I really like how you managed to include all the details and fun techniques in your build, which to be honest is a very common setting to explore, but the MOC really stands out compared to some Endor builds I've seen. Especially when looking at the bunker, which have some greatly textured walls and blast door. And of course a custom very well made AT-ST is a great center point of this scene. But now, let's get into the best 3 builds that were submitted, starting with Mission on Moonlist by Space Trooper Studios. And what got me here is all of the rubble around the ruins. I know that capturing destroyed buildings is much harder than making a pristine one, and here we have lots and lots of that. Some parts are even placed as they would probably fall apart by even touching the scene, but it looks so good. Of course, we also have some great minifigure posing with a small squad positioned very realistically after finishing some battle droids which lie dismembered beneath the rubble, so overall a very well planned out and built MOC. Great job. 2nd place goes to a Brick Dreamer with his Bandits of Golak MOC, based on the 2nd season of Star Wars Visions. What captures the eye is for sure the colorfulness of this scene, which almost gives out a feeling that it's not actually Star Wars, but the minifigure action as well as many small sci-fi details spread all around says it all. We have here some nice looking techniques for the buildings, as well as the groundwork, which is not all parallel, and that is always a plus when it comes to building with Lego. I remember your MOC from the previous contests I've hosted, and I see a lot of progress in your building, so keep up the good work and you may even be a winner in some next contest. And finally, in my opinion, the best MOC of all of the ones submitted, an awesome scene from Coruscant, is a Jedi Survivor MOC by Demaui. Again, not a huge scene, which shows that you don't always have to build big to build good, as it's fully packed with details. And you can see this in every square centimeter of the build, which makes you feel like you are playing the game. It's also a great example that you can build with only 2 shades of grey with an addition of couple small different color details, and the MOC will still look great. The minifigure placement is very well thought, we have some nice gribbling, and the overall composition is just the perfect setting for such a small vignette. The only 2 things that bother me are the Stormtrooper helmets from the Rebels line, which I'm not a big fan of, and the absence of BD1. But at least there is a fun little Easter egg partly recompensating that loss, so I can accept that. So huge congratulations to you, Maui, and make sure you direct message me on Instagram so we can talk about the shipping method of the prizes, and I hope you continue building MOCs like this because you really did a great job with this scene. And there you have it, fellow builders. These were the best builds that were submitted to my contest. The force of building is strong with all of you, so make sure you keep practicing, and who knows, maybe you will win the next contest I'll host. Again, huge congratulations to the winner and to all of the participants of the contest, and I hope you had fun while building your creations, because I definitely had fun reviewing them. Be sure you check out the Top 3 Builders channel by following the links in the description of this video, and of course if you want to search for other participants and show your support, I've included their names when showing the builds, or you can just find them on the contest playlist. Now, this is for sure not the last time I've hosted a MOC contest, since I see that many of you like this type of content here on the channel, so make sure you subscribe to keep track of not only that, but also many of the MOCs I make myself, like the ongoing Indiana Jones series, so there is definitely something to look forward to. As usual, hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video, and let me know in the comments which one of the builds was your favorite. I will see you guys in the next video on the channel, and until then, as always, make sure you keep it brickin'.